Hey everyone, I am up here on my day off and I figured it's been a long time since I've done a video talking about living with depression. And of course, I'm sure many of you out there know that depression is no fun to live with. And it can be grueling at times, it can be a source of sadness, loneliness, and so forth. I mean, it does provide its challenges, but you know what, guys? What you got to do is you've got to find the highs within that depression. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do the best I can, is finding those highs when I can get the motivation to get on up here, get some exercise, and just kind of ride those highs as long as you can. And I know it's not easy for a lot of people out there, but I find that depression can be one of those things that get you really down for a long time. It can make it so that you don't want to do anything at all. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a rough past couple of weeks. And so I'm just kind of, like I mentioned, I'm just trying to find those highs. And I mean, I've had those highs here and there. And what I do is luckily, I'm able to come up here away from the city, doing my favorite thing. I just got done skiing. And so I'm up here. It's, of course, I just got some people up here. So I'm going to go up over here. Yeah, all right, let me see. Put up over here. All right, come over here. All right, cool. I'm just going to get up over here. So it just kind of feels awkward when I'm like, seems like I'm talking to myself. But yeah, just get up here. All right, cool. So I'm up here and trying not to get the sun in my eyes, but I don't want to fall into a tree wall either. So, yeah, I think I may have mentioned it, but I did find a job. I mean, it's a part-time job until I can finally land the big one, the one where I can take the green banner off. But until that happens, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a mental challenge. And it's interesting because, you know, in life, we often have ambitions, goals, and be like, okay, in 10 years, I'm hoping to be able to do this, or hopefully in 5 or 10 years, I won't be having to do this anymore, or hopefully I won't have to be doing the stuff that I did back in my 20s. And it's like 15 years ago, I didn't think I was going to be doing what I was doing for work. I mean, it's bringing back memories, because some of the stuff I do is like folding pizza boxes. So it's bringing back the memories of when I worked at Godfather's Pizza back in my 20s. I worked for Godfather's Pizza for over 3 years. So folding those pizza boxes, making pizzas, making pizzas. So yeah, bringing back the pizza delivery driver days of my life back in I would say that when it comes to my 20s, especially like my early to mid 20s, working at a pizza place was probably like the theme of my life back then. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, lots of cleanup. I mean, you got to clean up the deli, you got to clean up the hot case. And that reminds me of way back when I was a courtesy clerk back at a different grocery store, back when I was like 18, 19 years of age. Started off as a courtesy clerk bagging groceries, but then I went and asked to be placed on like the cleanup crew, and there was only 2 of us, and eventually it was down to 1 of us, and we would have to trade off. So it'd be 1 of us doing all the cleaning duties for the bakery, the meat department, and what was back then it was called like the hot case. It was like the Chinese hot case, and it took well over 7 hours, sometimes upwards of 8 hours. And even then, I remember they were like, hollering at me because I wasn't getting done quick enough and so forth. So it's bringing back a lot of memories of doing a lot of these jobs I was hoping to avoid. But sometimes we make bad decisions in life, and depression can sometimes be fueled by those bad decisions we make in life. I mean, there's many sources of depression. It can be whether it's from not having a successful career, not having things pan out the way you were hoping to, sinking yourself into debt for a degree that really hasn't really had any return on investment. And so, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I know people are going to be saying things could always be worse, but everything's subjective. And see, that's what makes depression really a challenging issue. It's because what one person sees as depression, maybe just like, oh, he can just snap out of it, just like get over himself. Whereas another person be like, oh man, that sucks, and that really blows. And it's like, that's why it's so subjective. So like what I find depressing, someone else may not find depressing at all. Whereas like what I see someone else, maybe someone else is depressed about something, and I may be thinking, oh, I wouldn't be that depressed about that. But see, I can't put myself in that other person's shoes. I mean, because their way of experiencing depression is vastly different than how I'm going to experience depression. And so it's all subjective. And I think it has to do with upbringing, the environment you grew up in. Because I grew up in a very affluent environment, so I don't really know what it's like to be growing up in an environment where it's like you're in poverty, you're poor, looking for your next meal. I didn't grow up like that. So the way I experience depression is probably going to be different than, say, someone who was brought up in like a very impoverished environment, bad parenting, maybe they were abused. So that's what makes mental health so challenging. And it's discussing about mental health. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things that's super challenging because, like I mentioned, I mean, I can't experience someone else's depression just like any of you out there can't experience my depression. So what I got to do is, all I can say is you do what you can to ride out the highs. And so like today and tomorrow, I'm going to try to take advantage of my days off and just kind of experience that high, get myself in a good mood. And you guys are going to see a few videos of me getting goofy and so forth. But that's kind of my way of dealing with depression, is getting goofy, being able to be myself when I'm way out there, no one around, don't have to worry about, it's like, oh, is that guy a weirdo or something? Because it's like, you're out there in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, who really cares? Just be yourself, have fun, ride that high, put depression aside. And so that's what I'm trying to do these next couple of days. Because yeah, like I mentioned, my job, it's a job, but it's not exactly a mood enhancer. I mean, it's kind of putting me, in dark places when I'm at that, when I'm at work. But I mean, I made a mistake. I chose a degree program that wasn't the right fit. That's probably the way to say it. I chose a degree, made a bad decision, and I'm reaping the repercussions. So we all make decisions. Each decision we make is going to have positive or negative consequences. So all I can do now is kind of like buckle up, buckle down, continue to upskill, do my projects and work on my portfolio, try my best to hopefully get better at networking. And that's one thing I got to really improve on. And that's a skill in itself. I mean, networking for me, it's super hard, but hopefully over the next few months, I'll get better at it. Let's see what else, portfolio. And just trying my best to, even though, I may be experiencing depression, I've been experiencing depression for quite a while now, just try to find those times when I can just ride those highs and just kind of get out there and just put myself in a better frame of mind. And it also helps too, at least for the first day back at work after, having a couple days off or however many days off, having that kind of that energy at least gets me through a good solid day, maybe a day and a half. And then of course the depression really starts kicking in. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like stuff I was kind of reminding me of stuff I did back in my 20s and late teens. I'm just like, oh, dreading work, dreading. And that's the thing. Yeah, I definitely don't want to be doing something that I'm dreading the rest of my life, because I don't want to be some person that's disgruntled. I don't want to be that person that's always in a bad mood, or be that person that's like, God, what's that guy? I mean, guy. Oh, I hope that, forgive me if I accidentally said, yeah, but yeah, and the thing is, I'm not doing a remake of this video. I'm not doing retakes. This is raw. I don't like editing and all that. I just like to put it out there as it is. So oh gosh, now I kind of lost my train of thought. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I was saying yeah, I don't want to be that person that's gosh, what's that guy's problem? What is his deal? And I have the feeling, I could be wrong, but next time you see someone or encounter someone that's really disgruntled, just kind of take a step back and realize that maybe he's someone that's had, his fair share of struggles in life. Maybe things didn't work out for him or her, and they're just, maybe they're not depressed, but they're just living in a state of regret. And when you live in a state of regret, I have the feeling that can cause people to become really deep down on themselves, disgruntled, in a bad mood. So just remember, next time you come across someone that's like, as one of my grade school teachers used to say, crotchety. Man, that guy or that woman is so crotchety. Yeah, so next time you encounter someone that's crotchety, just remember, take a step back and, realize that maybe this person, just is living in a lot of regret. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But one thing I also want to kind of work on is when I'm doing these blogging videos, I know I'm always look like I'm in a bad mood when I'm speaking, and I got to fix that. I don't like that. When I watch my videos and I see myself squinting, it's like, oh, I look like I'm such in a bad mood. But yeah, I try to do these blogs when I'm in a good mood. I don't like blogging when I'm in a bad mood. That's just the way it is, because I've got to brand myself. Yes, talking about depression, I think it's a good thing to raise awareness, but at the same time, I want to do it, when I'm putting myself out there, I want to be putting myself out there in the best possible way, as possible. And so if I'm going to be talking about depression and how I'm experiencing those downs and then trying to ride those highs, well, I want to be doing it when I'm in a better mood. And plus, it's hard for me to really make a video when I'm in a more depressive state. So hopefully, my portfolio will start drawing some attention. Hopefully I'll be able to build my network, and then I'll be closer and closer to one day landing that dream job, or even just that foot in the door. I call it the foot in the door. And then when I can finally take down that green banner, I have a gut feeling. And my gut feeling is when I can finally take down that green banner, my depression is going to be a lot less. I mean, a lot less. And I'll be able to better cope with it. I'll be in a much better mood. I'll have a lot of self-confidence. And I'll just be I'll just be able to start living life. And then I can really kind of talk about, do some retrospective videos about the real deep issues that I've been experiencing with depression. I know I've kind of gone into it a little bit, but I mean, there's been some really dark moments, but I'm just kind of waiting until I'm in a good place in life where I can kind of talk about it in retrospect. So for now, I got to get myself some lunch, because it's been a fun morning. Been doing some wacky skiing. Oh yeah, fun conditions out there. This weekend is the Ski to Sea. It's a popular relay race. Still have not participated in the Ski to Sea. Maybe one of these days I will find a team that I can join, and I can do the downhill ski leg, or I can do the road bike, or the downhill run. I'll do one of those three, but hopefully that day will happen. Not going to happen this year, but until then, I might as well just make the best I can. So hope you guys are doing well out there. I know it's been a while, but take care, everyone. Peace.